This video is different. I just came back from Rome and some time ago I hit 1,000 subscribers. So I'm not gonna talk about tech and AI. Let's stay away from it for the sake of your mental well-being. This video is just gonna be random talk, like my life in general, my thoughts, human experience that will be never replaced by AI. And in this video, you will see how lovely Rome is. A little bit about my background. I got a bachelor degree in English when I was in China. And during 1.5 years after I graduated from university, I taught IELTS and TOEFL to international Chinese students who aim to study abroad. I wanted to study somewhere else as well, and my initial plan was actually go to the UK. But COVID came and it completely f***ed up my plan. My parents didn't want to financially support me simply because they worried about my safety too much. You know, the type of Asian parents. So I had no choice but to make my own money. I went to Warsaw, Poland because I had a friend who studied here back in 2017. I left everything behind, family, friends, the environment I'm so familiar with, but to some extent hate so much. I've been asked by so many people why I made this decision. So at the time I was around 22 or 23 years old, a young stupid idiot, but passionate about everything, trying to explore the world. It's been 3 years and I turned 26 this year. Anyway, I was just very curious about everything. Someone even said I might have ADHD because I'm literally interested in so many different things like coding, finance, singing, political science, AI, etc. It's like my attention is always placed here and there, trying to capture everything. Anyway, in retrospect, I think it's for sure the best decision I made in my life. It's better to go somewhere in the world when you're young and single. I have a couple of friends who already started or plan to start a family and they want to leave. Trust me, it will be exponentially harder. And the second reason is that I hate the environment where I was born and bred from the bottom of my heart. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I hate China. That's a really lovely country you should definitely visit in your life. I have lovely memories of my childhood, family, friends, but I was just so scared to follow the same life path like the majority people living there. You start your kindergarten, then you go to the primary school, then you attend the best middle school and high school, trying to, get the test scores as high as possible. Then you outperform your peers and are accepted by the top tier university, which is always considered a surefire way to land a good job, especially the one within the system. And this means a good partner, a guarantee of a promising future, so that kind of a linear way of thinking. I would say it's so typical among Chinese kids. If you fail your exam, the rest of your life will automatically fall apart, the kind of stuff. Deep down, I realized I just hate living for social expectations. Like, you must do X, Y, Z at a certain stage of your life. I still vividly remember the 18-year-old version of me one day sitting in the high-speed train, carrying so much anxiety and uncertainty about future. I didn't know what I actually wanted. I didn't know what's coming ahead of me. The future past just looks so blurred, but it was just crystal clear to me that I didn't want to live my life like most people live in there. I sat there in silence, but part of my heart was literally screaming so loud. It was like urging me to leave everything behind that doesn't suit me anymore. Just like, the retreating world outside the window. I know some of you may want to say, oh, that's normal. That's like anywhere else. No, it's not. Perhaps I'm terribly wrong. Perhaps my opinion is very biased. I think in East Asian countries, especially in China, it's quite common that people's sense of value comes from external validation. As a student, we are taught that only when we score brilliantly in exams can we be good enough. Can we exchange the kind of conditional love from our parents? Can we not be compared with other kids? And trust me, it's so normalized that Chinese parents saying something like, oh, your neighbor's kid or your friend is doing better than you, so go and look at yourself, something like that. We're also taught that a degree is the only way out and that we must endure 10 hours of study to stand out and to be recognized by people who you don't even know the names. The kind of swallowing bitterness to be above people mentality. And then growing into adults, we're taught by society that if you're not married and have kids at a certain age, you have a problem. That earning certain figures per year in a big corporation can bring you happiness and solve your life problems. And that buying an apartment can bring you security, even though paying back mortgages would lock you there forever and losing your job would be a nightmare scenario. We're just so used to proving ourselves by what we've achieved, but a lot of people are actually empty inside, you know what I mean? They just, internalize social expectations, lying to themselves that this is the life they truly want to live. And what about our inner voice? I guess it's been gone since we're still very young. This is a very toxic in a way that we're kind of programmed into comparing ourselves to other people. We're so jealous of why our friends make more money than we do, and of why other people's relationships always look better than ours. Look, I believe if you hold a lot of negative emotions towards somebody, like you feel jealous of them, you feel shameful of their behavior, you feel insecure because they do something that actually doesn't cut you, that's not about that person. It's more about you. Precisely, that's about your inner projection upon the person. That person is innocent. It's just like a mirror reflecting your weaknesses. And because of this toxicity, I've seen many failed relationships in my life. Like someone stops talking to their friend completely because their energy is no longer on the same level. Like one is really positive, but the other is very negative. In this scenario, usually the quickest solution is to cut off the time with a person. It's like, shattering the mirror is the easiest because you don't want to face weaknesses, right? Things have changed a lot since I moved to Europe. The biggest culture shock is that people literally have life here. Perhaps I think Europe is the best place to have a work-life balance. The best lesson I learned from Europeans is that you don't need to rush to anything, just let things happen. I still remember the first day of my master's study. I entered the professor's office, the perfume, the sunlight near the window, the green plant in the corner. Everything was in order and everyone was so quiet. That little moment really touched my heart. I feel I never had this kind of a sense of peace in my life before. Everybody just take their time to figure things out. Some people just read books, people grab a cup of coffee and really enjoying idle time connecting with their friends. People sit in a park and write down something with pen and paper. I kind of felt that was back in 1990s because these are things I've never seen before in modern China, dominated by hustle culture. Everyone is just focused on their life goals, attainments, money, career. These are definitely very important, right? But everyone just cares about the results, speed, efficiency, but not the process, not whether they enjoy things at their hand or not. The European way of living really plays a crucial role in my mental transformation. At some point, I learned to seek internally, not only externally. I gradually learned to appreciate small moments in my life, perhaps a simple and healthy breakfast I make for myself. The song in my earbuds that triggers my memory and emotions. The Italian breakfast I had in Roma. A small bite of gelato I grabbed from the shop. The tiramisu I had nearby Roma Colosseo. I also started to enjoying every moment spent with my friends and then stop thinking about what you can get from this person, but just simply get to know this person, his or her personality, hobby, energy, mentality, how they think, how they live their lives, what makes them sad and happy. These moments feel so simple but so real. I kind of feel if you start to seek internally, you also get more mental power and energy to achieve what you want. I hope you get little inspiration from my video, and I hope you enjoy my trip. I'm gonna share more of my thoughts in my upcoming videos. If you want me to talk about specific topics, let me know in the comments down below. See you, have a nice day, bye.